For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
So as the guy in our intro says, that we're part of the B2B program. Our program is called the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. That's actually the correct way to say it. We're so used to saying B2B.
It really is. It really is.
We say B2B, which is more like B-D-A-B, B2B.
Yeah, he pronounces it absolutely correctly.
The guy's talking right. The guy's talking English and he's saying it correctly. So I really don't have any qualms with him correcting us or anything.
No problem.
Absolutely. And I am one of the many Steve Millers. Thank you for joining us. And I am joined today with my cohort in crime,
the Dave Loomis. Not one of many Dave Loomises.
Definitely not one of many Dave Loomis. But those of you that are on visual, that are seeing this visually, you can already tell that there's a third person here. Those of you that are listening on the podcast, you cannot tell this. But we have our special correspondent, dare I say, bringing some beauty to the program. My smoking hot wife, Kay Miller. Welcome, Kay.
One of the Kay Millers.
One of the Kay Millers, unfortunately, but she's one of a kind, and she's in here because we do call this the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, and so far, all we've talked about is marketing. But we do want to talk about sales. And so we're going to kind of lean on Kay as our expert in the sales area. And so we've asked her to come on today. She is in the midst right now of completing her first book, which is going to be titled what is it titled?
Uncopyable Sales Secrets.
Yeah. Uncopyable Sales Secrets. So kind of goes with the uncopyable theme, as some of you might guess. And so she's working on that. It's going to be delivered very soon. And both of our books are probably going to be out in the first quarter of 2022. And so I thought one way to kick this off with having you in here, honey, is to very, very quickly give a quick background as to why I call you Muffler Mama. All right. And what qualifies you to be here. Go ahead. Don't be shy.
Okay. Well, I don't know how professional it is that you called me honey. But yes, I am the smoking hot wife.
I call Dave honey quite often. So
I'm sure you're generous with that word. But yeah, I've been in sales my whole career, and it's been very interesting. It's been fun and rewarding. And Muffler Mama is one of the nicknames that I have earned through that sales career. And I wanted to actually kick my part of this off with a story. What it really does, the story of how I got this nickname Muffler Mama, it ties into a branding promise that I have for my customers. And when you are in sales, your customers are not only buying your product or service, they are really buying you. And, you really need to establish that with them, what makes you unique. And when I first started with a company called Walker Exhaust, And this is in the field, believe it or not, of mufflers and catalytic converters. That was many years ago. It was very unusual for a woman to be in that industry. But I'll tell you what, I had a lot of fun. But when I started with Walker, I didn't know much about cars. I knew how to drive one, and that's debatable because I have been involved in some accidents. But, in my defense, they've all been when I was in the reverse gear. I've never had an accident going forward. But anyway, I didn't really know about cars.
That's actually kind of a dubious achievement, if you ask me.
I once backed two of our cars, our family cars, into each other. Steve, I don't know if you remember that.
I've done that. No, I've done the same thing.
I'm so happy to do that. This is before backup cameras. Thank goodness we have those now. But when I first started selling mufflers and exhaust products, I'm like, okay, I have no idea really how this works. What am I selling to my customers? I could look in all my, my materials, my pricing list. I went through training, but you know what? I really didn't know what's it like to use this product. So I thought, I want to know from my customers' perspective what it's like to use this product. I really want to walk in their shoes, or as I later called it, walk in their steel toe boots, because that's the first thing I had to do is go out and get a pair of steel toe boots, which are quite lovely. And I went into one of my current customers and I said, please, will you teach me what it's like to install an exhaust system? And if you want to hear the full meal deal on that whole experience, read my book because it's pretty comical. But really, it gave me such an understanding of what it's like, and it built so much credibility. So I think as customers or as salespeople, having a branding promise and letting your customer know what you're willing to do for them and having a story that proves it really will set you apart from other salespeople. So that is the Muffler Mama story. How did I do?
Well, it did. Yeah, you did great. I think, but you didn't tell them why you're qualified to be here. What happened? What happened at Walker?
I left out one detail.
One small detail.
A few years later, or I don't know exactly the timeline, but I was named by Walker, which at the time was the largest muffler manufacturer in the world. I was named the Salesperson of the Year, which was very exciting. And I still remember hearing my name called and walking to the stage, amidst thunderous applause, which that might just be part of my, redesigned memory. And they had this backdrop of like exhaust pipes staying there, behind us with the spotlight shining. But yes, I was awarded the top sales award for selling more mufflers and catalytic converters than anyone else in the country.
Which being the world means the world too.
Therefore, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I think that I think the idea of having you're promising people that you will go beyond, beyond everybody else.
Yep, beyond your competition.
Dave, what prompts you? What ideas does she prompt you to ask about?
Well, I heard you say something really interesting. First of all, Kay, congrats on that, your whole career, the upcoming book and everything. So that's fantastic. And I can tell that that's just the beginning of a great long story or many stories. So looking forward to spending more time with you on that. But you did say something that really hit home with me, because I've been doing some customer interviews actually for two different clients literally this week. And I had somebody tell me the other day, and I write, the way I do my interviews, I actually have a very quiet keyboard and I type the verbatim, like literally as they're saying it. And so I just write exactly what they say. And this is going to sound sort of strange, but I was talking about to a law firm that actually buys, background checks from my client. And they said, oh, we didn't buy company X, we bought Leslie. Or he actually said, I didn't buy so-and-so. I bought Leslie.
I love that. And guess what? I got to take a note because I might put that in my book.
I mean, he literally, that is the quote. And then he went on to say a whole bunch of other things that I would be happy to share with you, offline. But I've heard that time and time again. And I think one of the things that I'm going to do, we've talked about it, Steve, this concept of H2H marketing, human to human marketing. And that, I think, is going to be the title of my next book. And because I keep seeing it everywhere. Can you just say more about what that is, that people buy from people and people buy from people they trust, like, etc.?
Yes, and I love that. In fact, we have a good friend who is a distributor salesperson, and he sells janitorial and cleaning products. He changed distributors in our Seattle area, and he took a lot of customers with him because they're not just buying. I mean, the product is obviously good enough, and it's not always, the absolute perfect product that they're looking for. They're looking for that perfect package, and the salesperson is, part of that package. And he's another salesperson that goes way beyond, goes the extra mile. And he said that when his customers will ask about price, he said, how's that going to help you when you're out of product in the middle of the night? There's so much more than just the product. You've got, people buy from people they have a relationship with, from people they trust, and people who they feel really understand them. And, don't even get me started on salespeople that just go in and throw up details of their product. It's that relationship. And I love hearing people buy from Leslie. And that is, as your salesperson, your goal is to become a Leslie.
It is, or an Aaron, because I was on a call earlier today, and this was about managed IT services. And the client said, I said, well, how'd you happen to come to work with company X? And they said, oh, well, we followed Aaron. He was working at a previous company, and then he went to this new company. And, well, we have to work with Aaron.
Well, our friend that Kay is talking about, and quite coincidentally, his name is Kelly, which causes no end to confusion around our house.
I've begged Steve to get a new friend.
Yeah.
Because it's so confusing.
And there was one time we were having an ice storm in Seattle, which is extremely unusual, right? So of course, nobody is prepared to be driving in an ice storm in Seattle. And I said to Kay in the morning, I said, I am going to call Kelly. I said, because I guarantee you he is out making sales calls, right? And I call him, and sure enough, he answers from his truck, and he's like, yo, what's going on? And I said, Kelly, are you out making sales calls? And he goes, yes, the toilet paper must go on.
And that is great too, because, one of the things too, in fact, my second point was to be memorable, because you want to be unique. And, Kelly sells a lot of different products, so many different industrial cleaning and all these different products. But the one he says, I sell toilet paper. That makes him memorable. That's one of the things that makes him unique. And you're right. He goes above and beyond to the point where he's out in the icy roads because he wants to take care of that customer, because the toilet paper must go on.
But that's really interesting, because there would be some people out there that if toilet paper is part of what they sell, they would be embarrassed by that and they would underplay it. They definitely wouldn't mention it at a cocktail party, let alone at the customer. They'd say, oh, and yes, we also sell toilet paper, that kind of thing. But what about wearing things with pride? What about, having loyalty and actual, a great sort of self-esteem about what you sell? I'll bet you were really proud of the mufflers that you sold.
Well, you know what? At first, I have to say I was, I was much younger. Let's not use numbers. But yeah, Muffler Mama, at first, I thought, oh, wow, that's so weird. But then I realized, hey, I am Muffler Mama and nobody else is Muffler Mama. And, if you can be memorable like that, I mean, I talk in sales to salespeople all the time. And they say they can't even remember which one I was, if we're all looking for things to be memorable. And if you're not watching us, you don't know that we're all wearing orange, but that's a huge branding, branding thing. Okay, I'll just call it a branding thing. It sets us apart. And Dave, you also have that color orange. I just got an email 5 minutes before we got on from a customer of ours, a client. And he said, hey, I saw this watch and I thought of you guys. And it's got this bright orange face. So yes, separating yourself from others, isn't always a corporate thing or a button down thing. It's being real and connecting and going with it.
And I like the comment you made, Dave, about being proud of what you do, of who you represent. Our buddy Kelly, I think I've heard him say, 100 times, at least 100 times, I've heard him say to somebody, I sell toilet paper, right? And like Kay says, I mean, he sells all kinds of stuff. I mean, up to $50,000, cleaning machines, and stuff like that. But that's what he says, and because of that, he's very, very memorable.
That's great. One of the last episodes we did, I can't remember whether it was the last one or the one before, Kay. We talked about things that people do wrong in marketing. Can you think of something that people do wrong in sales that comes to mind in B2B sales? Or mistakes that people make, common mistakes?
I have to go with the one I always think of, and that is talking too much, dumping too much information. As I'm talking to, friends and customers and just all kinds of people about sales experiences from the buyer perspective, that's the number one thing I hear. It's like, oh my gosh, they came in and just talked and talked. And, we might be really excited. Hopefully we are very excited about what we're selling and it's a great solution and we believe in it. But, you can't just start off by blabbing away about how wonderful you are. Steve and I talk about this in websites. You read websites and it's all about we and I. You really need to establish that relationship. Even if it's a one-time sale in a car lot or something, you need to start with the customer. I think that's the biggest mistake is salespeople just talk too much.
Listening and curiosity. I actually have a friend named Bernie Marino, who is a car dealer in this area and one of the most successful.
I'm sorry, Dave, what'd you say?
Oh, a successful car dealer in Northeast Ohio.
I'm kidding.
Why?
He's trying to be
I'm
funny.
kidding because you said listening is so important.
Very
get
good.
it?
I get it now.
I just did something funny.
You did. Well, he is. He's really into teaching his people about curiosity. So if you're curious, you're asking questions and you're listening. And he really loves an episode of Ted Lasso, which is a popular show right now, where Ted Lasso he doesn't pretend not to know how to play darts in a bar, but nobody asks him anything about it and just assumes that he doesn't know how to play darts. And then he, just gets bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. And he says, hey, if you had just asked, if you had been curious enough. And so he shows that clip to his salespeople. So I love what you're saying, Kay, about just not talking too much. Maybe I talk too much.
We all, and I think, I even included in my book some little section from How to Win Friends and Influence People, written in 1935, I think. And, Dale Carnegie has all kinds of stories about how people just found him fascinating and all he did was listen. So, it's simple, but, we have to fight our own urges to talk to really get to that point. But it's really worth it if you can do that.
Yep, I agree. So Kay Smoking Hot Wife Miller. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. It's
our special correspondent.
Mhm.
Dave, you want to take us out of here?
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you so much, Kay. And thank you, Steve, for another great episode. And we will be seeing you next time. If you like us, we say, we like to say. And
like the old guys.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll have another great episode soon. So tune in. Anything else, Steve?
Nope. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, you guys. And I really hope everyone watching and listening to this call, I wish you all the very best in your sales success.
We do too. Thank you. Thank you, Kay. And we'll see you again, I'm sure.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.